Are you tired of losing money in DeFi? Every time you transact, you're losing money to slippage, and there's nothing you can do about it. Or is there? In this video, I'm going to show you how to transact without losing any money to slippage, which means you can keep more money in your pocket over time. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to my channel. This is the Financial Trader's Mindset. We're going to talk about using concentrated liquidity pools to keep more money in your pocket, to not only avoid slippage, but also earn money to trade. All right, let's get into it. So what you see here on the screen is an example of this. I'm currently in a Matic and USDC liquidity pool. I wanted to buy $18,000 of Matic. So what I did was I set up a USDC heavy, 100% USDC liquidity pool right below the current price at the time. This is about a day and a half old. And as price dips into my liquidity pool, it generates yield and also gets me the best pricing. Now, what I want to show you is what participants use in DeFi to try and get the best pricing on their crypto when they transact. So if we look over here, we got DeFi Llama. I love this DEX aggregator. It's great. But even though they compile and try to get the best depth in liquidity for you, sometimes you get slippage. Now, you want to think of liquidity as a swimming pool, right? Like just water. In the stock market, liquidity is very deep. So you could go and just market order some Apple stock or Nvidia stock, and you can get some deep liquidity that can handle large orders. But when you come to DeFi, liquidity is fragmented. It's not very deep in liquidity, especially if you have a large order, which means you can take on a ton of slippage. Here's a perfect example right here. You want to take $18,000 of USDC, which is valued at $17,996, and buy some Matic or the Polygon token. You're going to lose 0.32% to slippage. That's a solid $50 on this order. Not only that, but you pay a fee to the fee tier of that, whatever liquidity you use, right? So let's do some quick math here. Bust out the trusty calculator, 18,000, and say the fee tier is 0.3%. That's another $54. So once you make this swap, right out the gate, you're down over $100. $100 already in the hole. Once you swap, you haven't done anything after the swap. Right off the bat, just from swapping, you're down money. Imagine if you're very active in DeFi, constantly swapping, imagine how much money you're losing. Now, it doesn't just apply to someone with a large amount of capital. The percentages are the same. It applies to everyone. Depending how deep the liquidity is, it's still fragmented enough to where it can affect anyone with any type of size, even like $1,000. You swap $1,000, if you're losing 0.5 to 0.7% or even 1% of that trade, you still have to make that up. Now you can see over time, for someone that's very active, your lifetime slippage rate on your wallet, depending how many years you do this for day in, day out, it could be horrifying. One day there's going to be an app that's going to track lifetime slippage in your wallets, and you're going to be horrified at how much money you've lost simply from transacting. That's not even counting losses, drawdowns in price of the asset. That's just simply from transacting. So you have that loss already in slippage, over $100 on 18 grand. How long will it take you to recoup that? Say you earn a 50% yield. How long will it take you to recoup that $104? We'll say 105. So let's see, 18,000 times a 50% APR. So you're going to earn $9,000 in yield per year on that. Each day, you're going to earn $24. $24 a day. You're already down in the hole $104. It's going to take you over 4 days. We'll just call it 5 days to recover the loss. Now you can see the problem here when you're active in the markets and you think you're making money, making yield, and you're constantly rebalancing, you're constantly swapping and transacting with your crypto. The thing is, slippage is a silent killer of portfolios. And you're probably, if you're in this boat and you're sitting there wondering why your portfolio isn't performing like you thought it should, it's most likely due to slippage. All right, so we got that out of the way. You're losing money. It takes 5 days to recover this loss every time you swap. So that compounds. You swap 5 times in 1 day, that's like nearly a month to recover those losses. So how can you win? Is all this a fugazi? Is this all fake? There's ways around it. You could go one route and send your crypto to a central exchange, get the best pricing, and then send it back, right? But that takes a lot of time. Or what I like to do is to use concentrated liquidity to swap your assets. You keep them very tight in range. The only drawback, you need a little time to let the market convert it for you. See, what you're doing is, say I want to swap my USDC into the Polygon token. I take 100% of my USDC, stake it right below price, and then I let the market go into range and convert it. Not only are you getting the best pricing by avoiding slippage, but remember what I said, you got to pay a fee to that liquidity pool fee tier. When you're trading, if you're a liquidity provider, now they pay you that fee as they convert your assets into whatever you want. It's converting my USDC into the Polygon token. You can see it's a very tight range. See if I go down here, I'll just change it to the pricing of Polygon. And you can see I'm in a very tight liquidity pool. So it's dipping in my range. I'm waiting for it to convert, and I can be patient because I'm not in a hurry to convert it. And they're incentivizing me with the fee that I'm getting paid to be patient and wait. If Polygon takes off in price, that would suck, but at least I earn some yield. What if this goes on for a month? Imagine how much yield you'll earn, because you'll be in tight liquidity pools to convert that asset or swap it whenever you need to. And if you transact frequently on DeFi, it only makes sense to do this because you get the best pricing, so no slippage, and they're paying you to do it. This is even better than going on a central exchange and doing it, because centralized exchanges charge you that fee, the commissions, it's not the spread, losing a little bit of slippage. It's not as bad as DeFi, but it's still there. You're earning as you swap. Nowhere in the markets will you get better pricing, guaranteed. So when you're ready, that's how you do it. So another topic, or just another nuance here that I like to cover, is what if you don't fulfill your order completely? You can do one of two things. If you don't have enough of the asset that you want to accumulate, say Polygon never really gets to a point where I'm like, oh, okay, that's enough where I can secure it. I could just leave it be until I get filled, or it goes back out of range to the upside. I don't own any Polygon. I'm back to USDC, but at least I earned some yield in the meantime, however long that takes. Or say this liquidity pool converts 50% of my USDC into Polygon. I'm like, okay, it's not my full order being filled, but I want to secure at least 50% of this. So 18 grand, a little over 9 grand worth of Polygon. Maybe I can secure this. So I would unstake it, secure the Polygon, maybe put it in a separate liquidity pool to set up a range where I want to sell it higher, right? And then I take the remaining USDC and I set up a new liquidity pool with 100% USDC right below price to fill the rest of that order. That way you get the best of both worlds, and you're still earning yield on the Matic side, on the Matic pool, and on the USDC pool. And you're waiting to either buy the dip or just sell the Polygon you have at higher prices. And that's where you get the impermanent gain, and then you get more yield, and then you're just happy as fuck earning money. This is, if there's any reason to use a concentrated liquidity pool, it's to simply trade the market. You can use this to trade the market and get the best pricing and get paid to do it. Of course, there's always trade-offs. So the trade-off here is some patience. Sometimes your order will fill in 5 minutes. Sometimes it could take a week or longer, or maybe it never gets in range and fills. That's the market for you, though. Hopefully I explained it in a way to make it easy, and you can do this with a lot of major assets, especially assets that have low liquidity or high fee tiers. You definitely want to apply this strategy. The single-sided liquidity pool strategy, I use it all the time. I don't even know, I've generated countless amount of yield just doing this alone, and saving a ton of slippage from not having to go and trade. Of course, there'll be times where you need to go and trade. Use that only when needed. Go to DeFi Llama when you absolutely need to make a trade today, right now. Yeah, but for the most part, 90% of your transactions, they usually can wait. You can usually save some, or just spend some time waiting and being patient. All right, so hopefully that helps. And subscribe. If you have any questions regarding concentrated liquidity, you can join my Discord below. I also do one-on-one calls if you want me to help you strategize and set up your portfolio to set up liquidity pools. Feel free to book me. I'm happy to help. And that's the end of the video. Peace out.